All right, hey Frank, LeBron said that the key to him to a closeout game is trying to match the level of desperation of the opponent. He's been able to do so in his career. I think he's won 15 of his last 16 closeout games. How much of that message can you kind of take and apply to the rest of the team, and how much does it help just having LeBron in the experience going into that kind of game?
Well, obviously, LeBron's experience is invaluable in this situation. I expect our guys to feed off that knowledge, the experience, and obviously he's as good as anyone ever at setting a tone, for your team in the locker room. So, obviously that's going to be a big plus for us. And he's correct. We have to exceed the Denver Nuggets' energy, not play as hard as them, not let them play harder than us, but we have to exceed it.
Hey Frank, it's history of the day you guys came together for media day, which yes,
wow,
that's the answer probably. But when you reflect on that day and kind of just your emotions of going into that first week together as a team, what jumps out at you? And then can you put words behind the face you just made to explain what it feels like to have been together as a team for a full year and not even be done yet?
Well, nothing's normal in a pandemic, but this has been one of the most unusual seasons in NBA history, and to see that we're at the 1 year mark is it's surprising, and it's just weird to be quite honest. It's been a long year. The excitement at that time was about what we could be. We knew we had assembled on paper, a really talented team. It really came down to whether we are going to be able to come together and how quickly. That was kind of the mindset at that time. Is how quickly can we come together.
All right, guys, so that Denver's going to come out with desperation in the first quarter. One thing that could help the Lakers, it's a little hard to play with desperation, especially at the rim, if you have Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis both in there. Now, Vogel didn't confirm the starting lineup. We always kind of wait for that about a half hour before tip. Stay tuned for that. We'll have it. And last note, Geeter, happy birthday, Jeannie Buss. That's, of course, the governor of the Lakers. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeannie. We appreciate it, Mike. Good stuff. Plenty more ahead here on Access Sportsnet. Lakers, let's go as we check in. AD getting loose, looking good in the bubble. He's torched the Nuggets, 30 points or more in 3 of the 4 games. He's averaging over 32 per in the Western Conference Finals. And coming up,
as we take time now to say hello and welcome in Mike Singer from the Denver Post. And Mike, you're there, you've been there, you're inside the bubble covering this Nuggets squad. And so before we get into the series, I have to ask, look, us on the outside, we can read, we can watch, but for you, how much fun has this journey been here in the playoffs covering this team?
It's been so much fun. I mean, honestly, for the last 7 days, I was in quarantine. So I only got out for Game 4. But when I got out, my eyes were wide open. This has just been an unbelievable setup that the NBA has put on. I was just praying that the Nuggets didn't go down 3-0 so I didn't have to look at a 4-0 series sweep for my one game outside of quarantine. But frankly, it is everything that it looks like from the outside. It is that much more spectacular. The show, everything that the NBA has put together, obviously the level of the play has been amazing. And frankly, didn't everyone expect that we were going to be here in some capacity? The Lakers in the conference finals. Maybe everyone thought it was going to be the Los Angeles Clippers, but the Denver Nuggets decided to spoil that party. Here we are again. They're one game away from the NBA finals. I guess we're going to see if they're going to close it out tonight.
And with that said, history could be on your side because Denver, again, finding themselves down 3-1, which is familiar territory. We know the story, we know the narrative, but I got to ask you, being around the team, of course, is the attitude the same as it has been going into their elimination games facing this one, or is it different?
It's absolutely the same. I asked Nuggets coach Michael Malone tonight, and he goes, there's no pressure on us. It's the exact same thing that he has said in games 5, 6, and 7 against the Utah Jazz, games 5, 6, and 7 against the Los Angeles Clippers. After the first round, when the Nuggets made their first 3-1 comeback, they were playing with house money. And at this point, now, even though they're facing elimination for the 7th time this postseason, they feel no pressure. And speaking to the numbers that you just mentioned from Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, they play like that because they're so loose and relaxed. They don't feel the heat. They were never supposed to be in this position in the first place. The fact that they're here, it should be scary to the Lakers because they don't have anything to lose. If they can extend this to 5, start hearing the noise, you start hearing the chirping, maybe it goes 6. Maybe it goes 7. This is why the Lakers want to close this out tonight. They want to nip that in the bud as quick as possible.
We're going to dive into Jamal and Nikola here in just a minute, but I want to talk about something else that has been kind of surrounding this series, the foul situation. Mike, I got to ask you, after Game 3, it was reported that the Lakers complained about the officiating. Now, Frank Vogel said that that was a false narrative, that they actually went through the proper channels. I want to get your take on how teams handle situations as such, and after Game 4, did Denver go through proper channels, or how did they handle what they did not feel was fair officiating in Game 4?
This whole foul narrative is ridiculous. Everything that the Lakers have done, that the Nuggets have done, has been on the up and up. It is commonplace throughout the postseason. This is what teams do. They bluster, they complain, they use the media, they create narratives, they spark narratives. The fact of the matter is, Game 4, the reason why Anthony Davis and LeBron James had 28 free throws combined is because they were the aggressor. That's it. They were the more aggressive team. It benefited them. The Nuggets need to learn to not listen to the whistle. I know that's difficult. I understand that they're facing elimination, and the prospect of going home is very real. But they can't think about it. Nikola Jokic picked up 2 fouls early in the 4th quarter, and it completely threw the rest of the team off. He had to sit. He comes back with 5 minutes left. He's already out of it. So really, they need to not worry about the whistle. Forget about the narratives. The whole submitting plays and clips, that happens. Nothing that the Lakers did was sinister, untoward, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that people made a big deal of it because they complain LeBron and AD come back and get their free throws. I could not care less about the narrative. It is just commonplace NBA postseason chatter.
That's what I was going to say. I'm with you on that, Mike. It's physical, and the deeper you go in the postseason, that's what you should expect. All right, let's get to Jamal Murray, because he's been a sensation, a rising star here in the postseason. The other night, of course, he had a couple of spectacular plays, one of which drew a lot of viral attention because it was one invoking that of Michael Jordan. I want to get your take. You watch him night in and night out. Have you been surprised by some of the things you've seen, or is anything different in your eyes regarding Jamal Murray and what we're seeing here this postseason?
Yeah, it's that Jamal has put together the entire package. Last year, he was somewhat inconsistent. We knew he was a scorer. We knew he was somewhat of a specialist scorer. This year, he is actually leading the Denver Nuggets in assists against the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. He's averaging 7 assists a night. It's not Nikola Jokic, where everyone would assume. And more to that point, he is a really good rebounding guard. He's averaging almost 5 rebounds a game against all of the Lakers' trees. So the fact that he's put it all together, that he's risen to this moment, that he's risen to this stage. You already spoke about his elimination game numbers. The dude dropped 40 in Game 7 against the Clippers to send them to the conference finals in the first place. He is a big-time player, and it's so interesting because going into this postseason, I don't think that many people had him in that upper tier, that upper echelon of Western Conference guards. And now, after 18 games inside the bubble of what he's done, averaging 26 a game, shooting almost above 50% from the field and almost 47 from 3, it is inarguable that he deserves to be talked about in that same vein after what he's done this playoff run.
This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why we turn to Mike Singer from the Denver Post to get perspective on the Nuggets heading into yet another elimination series. As always, Mike, thanks for taking the time. Well done. Enjoy.
Johnson is at 1. How about LeBron James all the way up at 3? He will catch Stockton in the NBA Finals. Kobe Bean at 10. And look who's moved up to number 8. It's Rajon Rondo. The impact in Game 4 on full display in that second half, Rob. What did he do so well? Let's break it down with a little Access 360.
The 360 with Rondo right here shows you why he's a great quarterback for this team. In his 360, you're going to show a multitude of things that he can do very well. Right here, you see he's coming down. He had one of the patented plays. KCP doesn't have an option. He has no play. So he says, you know what, let's back this thing up because, you know what, I see something developing here. Let's run some. KCP, clear out. Let's clear out so I can do this pick and roll with AD so we can have some action because we need some movement. Here he comes off this pick. Look, this is a nice drop pass to AD. AD kind of stumbles, but you know what? He says, well, I'm still here for you, AD, and I'm going to shoot this with a lot of confidence because I'm playoff Rondo. Right there, knockdown 3 from long range. Here, now you got this whole thing. This is one of the prettiest passes you ever will see right here. Rondo, knowing that KCP is going to be, this is in great anticipation, gets that pass to KCP for the left. That is a fantastic pass. Right here, he's quarterbacking, telling everybody get in position. AD comes up, he comes off hard. This is what you got to do. You got to attack. He putting the defense in on the heels, okay, what are you going to do? Right here, it's a patented Rondo play. He's been doing it since he got in the league. He fakes the pass to AD because everybody thinks AD is the scorer and that Rondo doesn't like to score. But a little pump fake, nice little layup, little easy too. Pump fake, relocate, that's your favorite line, right?
It really
but,
is.
you know, that shows you right there, when you got LeBron on the bench, you need someone that can get that offense moving and grooving like Rondo does.
Great breakdown there, Rob. And James, especially with the way Denver kind of defended LeBron James in that fourth quarter, kind of creating the wall. He was settling a little more for jump shots. It was interesting. We were watching the game together at the end of that fourth quarter, and you wanted the ball in Rondo's hands. What a great option to have, taking pressure off LeBron, so it's a different look. It doesn't have to be him every single time.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, he does take a lot of pressure off LeBron, and when the ball is in Rondo's hand, you know, LeBron's a dynamic player, but there are more options when Rondo has the ball in his hands, too. He knows how to get everyone involved. I think he calculates the defense a little bit better. A lot of people say there are only like two true point guards left in this league. You know, CP3 and Rondo. And you talk about his offensive skills, how he is a floor general, Rob. Defensively, he's extremely disruptive. What he was able to do against Harden in the Rocket series, how he was able to, you know, come in and disrupt, because he's just a true point guard that knows how to study his opponent, knows their tendencies, and he just does a great job on both ends of the floor. Went and asked Coach Vogel on that shot that AD hit to win the game. Went up and asked the coach, want me to go and throw it in? Because he knows that he's experienced, and that out-of-bounds passer, that is a serious job to do when you have a little bit of time left. More important than the shot itself, I think. So I think Rondo's just, he's done it all since he's come back.
One day Rondo's going to be a coach.
One day.
One day. All right, we're about a half hour from tip-off. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Michael Porter Jr. is a tough cover. He's averaging 13 points, 56% shooting in the Western Conference Finals. He has a bright future ahead. Just 20